Alright guys, I'm going to be doing a quick little video to show you how to replace your capacitors in your ECU. This could be done on many different types of vehicles. In this particular case we're doing Honda. And here's some of the quick things I was able to grab from around the house to use them. It's not the best things to use, but that's what we're going to do for today's just quick capacitor, just to see if that was the issue with the ECU. Hopefully nothing else got damaged, but for starters, you're going to need a soldering iron, obviously. This is an old one that I have. It was given to me by my dad a long time ago, and it's been working great. It's adjustable, so you could adjust the heat levels and all that. You don't need it. You can just get a cheap one, that'll work. You're going to need some no clean wick. Any type of soldering wick works. It'll basically suck up the solder when you need to remove some solder. You're going to need some new solder, obviously. You're going to need some flux. I use a Sharpie, like a highlighter, to mark where the contacts are going to be on the back side. Some Q-tips to clean the area. Obviously this is OBD1 ECU capacitor kit. It shows you all the stuff that it comes with there. I'll make a link to it in the description. Got from Amazon, I believe. Just something to clean, and another thing to scrape because there's going to be corrosion. Nail clipper, because I wasn't able to find some wire clip cutters in time. Little paintbrush to paint on and remove the alcohol and rubbing and alcohol compounds that we're going to be used to clean real quick. And then you want to have a some sort of light. I do photography, so I have this light. And yeah, you're going to need a screwdriver or a drill or something, your ECU, and just start taking it apart. These ECUs are pretty easy to take apart. You're going to take off 5 screws on this side, and then 5 screws on this side. Then after that, you can take off this screw here, very important, before you remove the board. So don't forget that one. We're working on a P06 ECU. Yes, it's been chipped. This board was in my current hatchback. I have a B1898 spec. It came with this and it was chipped to it, but I started having issues starting it. I couldn't start it, and I would get clicking noises out of the main relay. Most of you probably already know, but that's due to this capacitor right here. I believe it's the number 14 capacitor. I can't really focus in on that because, let's see. Oh, there we go. The number 14 capacitor right here. Over time, these Honda ECUs or other ECUs, they start leaking from the capacitors and they start causing corrosion. You can see all this black stuff right here. That's all corrosion. And basically what you got to do is you got to take these out and put in new capacitors. But you got to clean this off too. I'm using some alcohol hand sanitizer. It's probably better if you use some paint thinner, lacquer, to get that shit off. So what you want to do is you're going to clean all that stuff off, and you're going to get these capacitors off and switch them out. Looks like a couple of these have already been switched out, but since I bought the whole kit, I'm going to switch all of them. I'm mainly doing this video for my friends with the Beats, the Honda Beats. Most of those are 91s and 92s, and they're really bad. If you're having starting problems, you should check your ECU first. It's probably the capacitors. Get a capacitor kit, switch it out yourself. A lot of you guys might be intimidated by doing this, but it's really easy. Don't be afraid. All of this shit right here, you see that? Right? All this stuff, that's all dirt, grease, and corrosion from the capacitors. You could just see how they're all starting to leak and fail. This one's actually pretty good. Right there, that's pretty good capacitor. But once the grease leaks onto it, or the acid, it starts corroding these contacts and they break. So that's exactly what happened here. That's the rest of the pin there. I bent it back, obviously. We're trying to clean this corrosion off and get it off everything else, because eventually it'll eat away at the other contacts too. So there you go. There's the damage. I took some of this hand sanitizer and this toothbrush and I went at it, and I got a lot of shit off, but some of it is really stuck on there. So what you want to do is you want to take your flathead screwdriver and you get a little hand sanitizer and you just start scraping it off. So this is the back of the board. We have it set up here with, you know, light, looking at it, everything. It's a good idea to know where your traces and leads are. You can get a highlighter and just like mark it or something like that, you know, just do a little mark. That way you know which two you're taking out. Is that one the other one? So you just mark them real quick. That way you don't have to be looking for them and everything. And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the soldering iron and some solder, and you're gonna add solder to it. You get it hot, and then you flip it around. And you're going to, while it's hot, pull the capacitor out. There you go. There's the old capacitor. That's what the corrosion did to the capacitor. So now we're gonna get the new one and just pop it in. Now this is what's causing the problem in my ECU. So we're probably gonna stop here today. And this is how you take the solder off. You're just gonna get the little wick and wick it off with some heat. Basically absorbs it. Get the area clean. All right, so before we put it in, we're gonna go back and we just took some isopropyl rubbing alcohol and we're just rubbing everything down. It's not gonna be completely clean because, like I said, it's better if you use some lacquer thinner, and using just a little paint brush, and then you can soak up everything with a Q-tip with alcohol in it. And what the alcohol does is it loosens some dirt and oils up pretty good, and then it all goes into the Q-tip, as you can see. The other thing is alcohol doesn't leave any residue, neither does the paint lacquer thinner. You just get the dry side and dry that shit off. Okay, we cleaned as best we could with the alcohol. I'm gonna go get some paint lacquer thinner at the store tomorrow, but we're gonna replace just this one capacitor, and we're gonna show that this is what the issue was, obviously, because the leg was broken. But the car should start just fine. I should get no check engine lights or anything like that. We're gonna clean everything else up tomorrow, and I'll probably record that too. But just showing you that there was corrosion over this contact, and you start to see that it's eating it away. I didn't buy replacement ones of these. I'm just gonna put some more solder around it over here, and this is where we're gonna solder the capacitor. So I'm gonna make sure I have the right capacitor, the right voltage and all that, and then we'll put that in and go from there. Okay guys, here you see this is the replacement capacitor we're gonna be putting in. It's the same farad and same voltage, and you want to get the 105 degree ones because those are going to last a little bit better in the heat. So you see these are 105 degrees Celsius. Those are the capacitors you want to get. Okay guys, something to note on your capacitors, you usually have this white line on them. On one side, that's your negative lead, and then on the board you see these white lines. That's your negative lead. So when you look at another capacitor, like this one right here, you see the white line is at the white line, negative to negative. If you guys are wondering which way it goes or whatnot. So you want to get it in there pretty good with some space on there, right? Make sure there's nothing obstructing it or anything like that. There you go. Give it some little bit of room to breathe, not too high obviously because you're going to put a lid on this, and you don't want to bend them too much either because they're pretty fragile on the legs there. Then you're going to solder the back. You put a little bit of paste on the edge of your solder, and then you just heat them in real quick. Be careful not to put too much, because if you put too much, it could leak through and drip. The other reason you don't want to have it on there for too long, if you leave the soldering iron on there too long, you could start burning the traces and the board and the components. So just quick like that, and then I don't have a wire clipper or anything like that, so I'm just using a nail clipper. I'm lazy right now and I don't want to go look through my tools, and we're just doing this really quickly to and that's it. So I'm gonna throw this ECU back together. Yeah, go ahead and clean that up. You just use some alcohol to clean the little paste that's on there. Should be good to go. Okay guys, on this side, you want to put just a little bit of solder, not too much. That's pretty good. That's good. That was good. Just like that, because these boards they're two-sided trace boards. So just do it on the positive side to get some solder on there in case there's a double trace on that side. The negative will just go through to the other negative side, so you don't have to do it. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna throw this board together and see if it works on the hatchback. It should. And that's it. Thank you guys.